Breaking news: it is time for President Biden to take action against Iran. He must face reality. Iranian terrorists attacked a U.S. Navy destroyer and 3 commercial ships in Yemen on Sunday, while Iranian proxies intensified their attacks on U.S. military installations in Syria and Iraq. American citizens and allies are being attacked fearlessly by the Ayatollah in Iran, and President Biden must confront this reality. American mush has been Biden's response thus far. But Ali Khamenei will not back down until he encounters American steel. There was context for the most recent escalation, targeting the USS Carney and 3 other ships, including one owned by the British, with a total of 26 incidents of harassment, assault, or seizure occurring between January 2021 and July 2022. Iran poses the greatest danger to Middle Eastern freedom of navigation. The Houthis, a terrorist group based in Yemen that is allied with Iran's Revolutionary Guards and has received training from Hezbollah and missiles and drones from Tehran, attacked an Israeli-linked cargo ship with a drone attack and fired 2 ballistic missiles near the USS Mason, another American destroyer, just last week. Afraid not. A cargo ship operated by the Japanese was captured by the Houthis in the Red Sea the previous week. In addition, the Carney and Israeli air defenses successfully intercepted the majority of the missile and drone attacks that were launched from Yemen towards southern Israel in recent weeks, adding to the 74 attacks directed by Iran against U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria since October 17, in which 1 contractor was killed and dozens of U.S. service members were injured. This is the latest in an apparent effort to discourage Iran from escalating tensions in the region. Biden has sent 2 carrier strike groups to the area. On the other hand, Tehran is not impressed. Biden and his closest European allies let the UN missile embargo on Iran expire a week after the October 7 massacre by Hamas. They chose not to trigger the snapback of UN sanctions on Tehran. Why? Because Iran would likely respond with escalation. Iran was granted access to $10 billion that had been held in Iraq by Biden, who waived sanctions, weeks after dozens of attacks on U.S. forces. What's more, Biden brings in $30 billion in oil money by not enforcing sanctions, and Iran is still awaiting a ransom payment of $6 billion in Qatar. After removing the Houthis from the official U.S. terror list soon after assuming office, Biden now refuses to reinstate them. However, despite warnings from the United Nations nuclear watchdog, Khamenei continues to push Iran closer to a nuclear weapon of mass destruction by ramping up production of highly enriched uranium and ignoring inspectors. According to the Ayatollah, Biden is only interested in gaining Tehran's financial and strategic support, not in using military force. He has warned Jerusalem against attacking Iran's terror infrastructure in northern Israel, and he is determined to continue with his failed strategy approach, which will lead to the deaths of more Americans and allies and the establishment of a nuclear-armed state that sponsors terrorism. He needs to alter his approach. The simple first steps would be to refreeze all of the funds that were made available to Iran in the past few months and to tighten restrictions on Iranian oil shipments to China. 2 measures that had unanimous support in the House can be voted on by senators to put pressure on Biden to act on both fronts. Returning U.S. military force to its pre-Cold War level is the next step. In the event that Iran tries to retaliate, the United States will defend itself and its regional allies. This is reassuring news for Riyadh and Abu Dhabi, who are worried that Tehran may violate its de-escalation agreement with the Gulf Arab states. Biden could help bring about peace in the Middle East by attacking Iranian and Houthi targets. The president must remember this one thing: no matter what he does, Iran will not stop attacking the United States and its allies unless he shows American strength. Richard Goldberg is a senior advisor to Mark Dubowitz, who is chief executive of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Iran has imposed sanctions on both